In the ancient world, building an empire required a very specific toolkit. If you wanted to conquer and hold vast territories, you relied on extreme violence, military terror, and an iron fist. Around 268 BCE, the Mauryan emperor Ashoka possessed exactly that kind of power. After a devastatingly bloody victory in the Kalinga War, he commanded an unmatched military force, capable of crushing any remaining resistance across the Indian subcontinent. At the absolute peak of his military supremacy, Ashoka does something historically unheard of. He stops. He lowers his weapons and renounces aggressive warfare. This creates an immediate problem. If you rule over a massive, diverse population and actively remove the threat of military force, what keeps the empire from immediately tearing itself apart? Ashoka solved this by introducing Dhamma. This functioned as a civic software, a set of moral protocols designed to govern the empire through internal ethics and moral authority rather than external force. To keep a sprawling, multicultural population unified, Ashoka codified Dhamma into a strict administrative policy, effectively writing an ancient constitution. To deploy this constitution across millions of subjects, he built an ancient mass media network. He broadcasted his civic code by erecting massive stone pillars and carving edicts directly into rock faces located in highly trafficked public squares and along major trade routes. Looking at this photographic source, you can see exactly how these messages were delivered. The ancient Brahmi script is deeply carved into the stone, permanently etching his laws into the physical landscape of the empire. These edicts contained highly specific instructions for everyday life. Edict 3, for example, explicitly mandates that citizens must obey their parents and show deep reverence for their teachers. Writing the rules on stone required physical enforcement. Under Edict 5, Ashoka created the Dhamma Mahamatras. This was a newly established, specialized cadre of government bureaucrats whose sole responsibility was to travel the kingdom, educate the public, and ensure these moral codes were followed. This diagram shows how he structured the administrative state to support these officials. Below the emperor, the Dhamma Mahamatras handled ethics and welfare alongside a formal judicial system split into two branches, the Dharmastiya for civil disputes and the Kantakashodhana for criminal justice. By putting this infrastructure in place, Ashoka successfully swapped out the unifying force of a standing army for a sprawling network of stones, laws, and specialized civil servants. That bureaucratic network quickly expanded from enforcing moral laws to building physical public works. The state began funding critical infrastructure, constructing expansive water management systems and rest houses, called dharmashalas, along major transit routes. Then Ashoka implemented a massive state-sponsored system of free medical care for the sick and elderly. This Ashokan pillar stands among the brick ruins of those Mauryan public institutions, giving us a sense of their immense scale. And the edicts specify that this medical network was built to provide direct treatment for humans and explicitly for animals as well. State communications officially declared a shift in the empire's tone. The deafening roar of war drums, the Bari Ghosha, was replaced by the Dhamma Ghosha, the sound of righteousness and public peace. As the visualization shows, military expansion rapidly shrinks, while investments in public health and social harmony grow. Edict I codified environmental protections by strictly prohibiting animal sacrifice, while Edict 7 mandated absolute religious tolerance across all sects within the borders. These policies shifted the focus of the Mauryan state. The administration's success was now defined by the health, harmony, and environmental stewardship of its subjects. Because this administrative model relied on shared human values rather than military force, its influence easily spilled over the geographical borders of the Mauryan Empire. Looking at this sacred Bodhi tree structure in Sri Lanka, we see the physical legacy of that spread. Ashoka sent state-sponsored missionaries across regions like Nepal and Southeast Asia. They operated as cultural ambassadors, exporting these core concepts of Dhamma and Buddhism far beyond his immediate control. Even long after the Mauryan Empire eventually collapsed, subsequent regional rulers and completely separate dynasties adopted Ashoka's ethical blueprints to legitimize their own governance. We can trace a direct line from those ancient policies to the present day. This artifact, the four-lion capital, originally placed atop Ashoka's pillars, serves right now as the official state emblem of the modern Indian Republic. Ashoka the Great left behind a blueprint for power that outlived his own borders and his own dynasty. By abandoning the sword at his peak, he demonstrated that political authority could be anchored in public welfare, leaving behind a code of ethics that still shapes how modern states project their authority today.